Every B2B podcast sounds the same. Cookie cutter strategies, corporate buzzwords, high level theory that sounds smart but changes nothing. Meanwhile, the real game changers are out there breaking every rule in the playbook and crushing it. They're not following best practices, they're building their own path and winning in the ways that experts said wouldn't work. These are the rebels you need to hear from, the ones with tactics you can actually use tomorrow. This is Burn the Playbook. Burn everything that's holding you back. Welcome in. I'm Mark Crosby. This is Burn the Playbook. Today's guest is Joe Mindak, a seasoned entrepreneur who's been building and scaling businesses for more than 25 years. Right out of college, he started a marketing company that grew into a multi-million-dollar enterprise before he successfully exited. Since then, he's launched ventures in publishing, craft beer, wedding tech, and even music festivals. Joe is always chasing opportunity with creativity and hustle. He now leads the Connective, a fast-growing business network that helps companies collaborate and share referrals. It's already expanded to dozens of states, hundreds of members. He also heads sales and marketing at Nolodex, which is a platform he helped create to manage and track all those referrals. Joe recently published a best-selling book called Connectors Get Paid. His energy, curiosity, and track record of turning ideas into real businesses make this a conversation worth hearing. Hello, Joe.
Hey, Mark, I sound pretty old there. That's a lot of stuff.
You've done a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
Yeah.
I just had to check all those boxes and make sure everyone knew what they were getting themselves into, which is a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, well, I'm excited, and I like to talk about it, and I do like to talk, so I'm excited to chat with you today, so thanks for having me.
Nice. Pulling out of Connectors Get Paid, I decided to throw into ChatGPT. What is a connector? I'm curious if this is a hallucination. Is this right? Tell me if you agree or not. A connector is someone who links people, ideas, and opportunities they wouldn't meet otherwise. They build trust by giving first, spotting useful connections fast, and helping others win. And business connectors don't chase deals. They create ecosystems. Is that correct?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, it's kind of like, I wouldn't call it like an innate ability, but I think there's certain people that are just really good at connecting and saying, "Hey, Mark, you should talk to this person," right? And people should listen to that, right? If anyone says they're a connector, they usually don't just say that because, there's a guy, and I'm sure in our group that always connects people. He puts them in as that's not a referral. He's just introducing me, but he knows you should talk to that person, right? Like I connected one guy, started talking to in our community, and another guy, right? And I'm like, wait, you guys are the same people. Like you're both techie guys, right? Which techie people are typically this brain, but they're both sales guys. They're both had that like sales thing. I'm like, hey, this is weird. You guys got these two brains together. You guys need to talk. I literally put them together on an email, and it just started like it was like war and peace back and forth. These guys, they like hit it off immediately. And then the one guy hired the other guy for a $10,000 project to come to his company, help him grow. So yeah, I think some people just could see like, Mark, I think you should talk to this person. So pretty much almost every meeting I have these days, by the end, I'm like, let me introduce you to that person. Right. So it definitely ability. I think you could learn it better over time, learning to listen, learn to see, okay, because everyone needs something. But I think it's definitely something that, people are great at putting certain people together and making things happen.
Is that a title you give yourself, or is that something that other people give you?
I mean, people have always said to me, you know everybody. So yeah, I mean, at some point you could basically say a super connector is a bigger one, right? Connector is one thing. Super connector, I think you have to really have the chops and proven yourself. But yeah, connector is just somebody that loves to make introductions, right? And it's actually a good feeling to do it, right? I love being able to make connection between two people, something happen, right? And now we're saying with the book, Connectors Get Paid. If you're a great connector, you should be getting paid because I think the connectors are the ones that make those, like you said, ecosystem and those communities, right? There's the people that really give and keep bringing things because they know everybody. They're out there talking, they're out there networking. They can introduce you to anyone. The other people aren't. That's okay. They're willing to pay those people though. So that's the big difference now. I think of what we're talking about, the future networking we're talking about here is like, why don't we all pay those people? Hey, I like to go out and sell. I don't like having to talk to people. I don't like going to networking meetings. Well, guess what? Mark does.
Mm-hmm.
And if Mark brings you business, would you pay him? Of course I would. I don't have to do that stuff that I don't like doing. You're going to bring me clients? Yes, I will pay you. Please, I will pay you. And that's why, that's why people hire salespeople, right? I'm great at IT. I know how to run a company. I own a software company. I could develop things all day long. I need someone to go out and sell for me. Hey, I'll pay you to go get the business. You're the guy that likes to talk. Well, this way, we're giving everyone that opportunity in these communities to be like, hey, why don't we all become salespeople for each other? So if you like the connecting, you're getting paid. If you don't like connecting, these other people, and we have 550 people in our group, these other 550 other people be happy to pay you, be happy to open doors if you pay them. So it just makes sense.
It does make sense. Kind of like sales. Some people think sales is a numbers game. Is that, I guess, hold true as far as networking? Is that a numbers game or is it a trust game?
It's, you got to build the trust, right? I mean, everything's a numbers game, right? At the beginning, like you're going to, like, again, we have 550 people in our community. If you go through all of those people, you're going to find, 50 people that really become good for you, right? But it's hard. You don't want to just have those calls like, hey, Mark, what do you do? That old people meet each other. Tell me what you do. What do you do for, like, slow it down. Like, hey, Mark, tell me about yourself. Like, let's get to know each other a little bit and see if we hit it off, right? And build trust. And eventually, you have a couple meetings, you start to like that person, trust them, they seem like a good person. Then you're going to start opening the doors to them. But yeah, if you're just doing a numbers game, getting on a call, tell me what you do. And there's some people that just, I had someone a couple of weeks ago, I got on, and it was just, this guy makes 1,000 connections a week. It's like he literally went on to LinkedIn and just sent like 5 notes to people that I think he was just connected to.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't work. Not one of those people got back to me. Mark meet this worker, Mark meet this worker, Mark meet this worker. Like, he sent me 5 things, not one, and I knew none of them were going to get back to me. Like, I don't even think he knows those persons. So yeah, you have to, when you're making an introduction in networking, it really, really should be someone you know.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that person well? Yes, I do. I do. Okay. Can you ask them, are they interested in, I do email marketing. They're the CMO of a company. Yes, I went to college with that person. Ask them if they're looking for any more new email marketing agency. And I'll reach out to that person I know well. Hey, Sarah, listen, I have a friend looking to talk to you. Oh, Joe, we're good with email. We have a in-house thing. Or actually, you know what? Right now we are looking for somebody. Think about that as the connection. So it's building a trust, like me introducing Sarah, who she trusts me, to somebody I'm saying, hey, these guys are good fit for you. Those deals are going to close 9 out of 10 times off of just numbers game.
Yeah, I think it's the same in sales. I mean, you could do a spray and pray, and obviously you could get some results from that. But if you lead with authenticity and a foundation of trust, you'll probably get better results. I think that applies to networking, applies to sales, and so it's not so transactional. So I think that's probably a better way to start. You had mentioned before, as far as the ability to listen as a trait of a connector, super connector. That kind of leads me into one thought as far as introverts versus extroverts. So would you think that introverts or extroverts make better connectors or networking partners?
Well, it could be anything, right? Like, I'm definitely not an introvert, but I like to talk to everybody. Like, I talk to everybody everywhere I go. I know the hell out of my family doing it. So I get to meet a lot more people because I'm an extrovert. But if I'm just an extrovert that just likes to talk and not listen, I'm not going to be a good connector. You need to also listen to what the other person's saying. So a lot of times introverts, I know a bunch of introverts that are really, really good connectors, because they're going to sit back and watch me, Joe Mindak, just chat away, and they're going to listen. I heard what that person said, right? And you got to listen to what people say. Like, my wife is an extrovert. Like, I remember we were selling our home in Hoboken, right? And we walk out the door, and this woman comes up to her, and they're talking. I'm getting in the car across the street. I go, what that lady want? She goes, she stopped me and said, "Is that your house? Sorry to bother you." I said, "Yeah." She goes, "I just wanted to say, my husband, I told him if this house is ever for sale, I want to buy it." Like, we had this cute little brownstone. And I go, "Did you tell her we were selling it on Monday? Like, it's literally going on the market?" She goes, "No." I'm like, how'd you not? Like, and I had to go around a corner, stop this woman and say, "Excuse me, what my wife wanted to say is we're selling the house." So I think, look, anyone just needs to listen, right? I mean, and that's an extreme case where the woman's literally, but any conversation you have, people always need something, right? So I think if you're an introvert, if you're listening and saying, okay, Mark mentioned that he's looking for, a new agency to do his marketing. Okay, that's a lead for me, right? So I learned to do that long ago, is just listen to people anytime where you're at. And so I don't necessarily think introvert or extrovert is a big deal. It's just how good are you at listening and identifying those leads and those referrals and those needs that people have.
As far as like when you network and you're connecting with people, you're making connections, and I think even the last example where that guy went out and I guess set up 1,000 different calls. What's the best recommendation you have for following up? After you make that initial call, maybe you meet somebody at a networking event in person. Maybe it's a Zoom call. Maybe it's another networking event. What's the best protocol for following up?
for me, I always like to be the first person to follow up. And it doesn't have to be a follow up to sell them on something. It's just simple, hey man, good to meet you last night, right? And that's just building a relationship, right? Hey, good to meet you. By the way, oh, we're talking about Giants football. Be like, did you see that? What is it old Saquon Barkley went to the Eagles? I don't watch Giant football much, but the Paxton guy, whatever. Did you see that? Like, just something that like builds a little bit between you, right? So I would say, when somebody gives you their card, just follow up and say it's good. It was good to meet you. Fine. We can let's. I'd love to keep talking to you. Let's chat in a couple weeks, right? Because if you're just like, hey, Mark, it was so good meeting you last night. By the way, do you want to buy this? I sell this. Do you want to buy this? I sell it. Slow it down. Talk a little bit about it, get to know them a little bit. And I like to learn a little bit more about them, right? The great things are now you could go onto social media and find out on Facebook, find out on what they like, what their interests are, and find something that you could connect to them about. Like, oh, I didn't know you were a Giant. Let's bring a Giant. I didn't know you were a Giants fan. Like, it's great. Oh, cool. So now you start to connect to them on that level and build it. But when you go in these events, like I was talking about this a couple of weeks ago, like you don't need to get 20 different cards. Like find one person that's like that person is an awesome referral. And if you know right away, be like, oh my God, this person is such and such. You know who they are. Just go meet that person and get locked in with them and try and just hang out with them tonight. And you don't need to talk about business. Just get to know them, right? I went to the city 2 weeks ago for dinner. I paid to go to the dinner, and my one focus was this one guy. That's it. It's the only reason I was there. I mean, I talked to other people, but my thing was, and it was his event. And I just, at the end of the night, went up, introduced myself, told him, hey, yeah, I just wanted to meet you face to face, look at me. And then now we've been talking since, right? And so I followed up the next day. Really good to meet you next day. I'd love to get on a call in a couple of weeks when you're ready, type of thing. And now we've just talking to him. Now we're doing some stuff together.
Nice.
But yeah, you want to follow up. When you tell someone you're going to do something, that's the worst thing, right? Especially at these events, like, oh, I know somebody. I'm going to introduce you, and then you never do it. Do it the next morning.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Mark, I told you I was going to introduce you to my friend Amy. Here's that introduction I told you about. So you're building your credibility and your trust. So I followed through. So I hate when people don't follow through, right?
Well, I think the biggest mistake is people just don't. And for one reason or another, they get busy doing other things. Maybe they forget. And I think that's just probably the biggest mistake as far as just networking. You go to events. We were talking about this on the last podcast with Allison French, and we're talking about trade shows and go into these events. And part of it was, preparation. There's 3 phases to it. I mean, there's a preparation, which most people don't do to go to these networking events, trade shows and conferences. There's the middle part as far as what you were talking about, like, I'm going to go talk to that guy. And perhaps you did some preparation as far as knowing he was going to be there to begin with. Maybe you didn't, but you figured it out along the way, and then following up. A lot of money and time is spent networking, going to conferences and trade shows, and I think the biggest part that people screw up is following up in a timely manner, because I think you have to do it within like a couple days, because people get busy, they get back to work, they get busy with the day to day, and they miss the meat of it, which is following up, sending those reminder emails, a connection request on LinkedIn, and at least just saying you enjoyed your time with them and speaking with them. That example that you mentioned as far as going to that event, and you said, I'm going to meet with that one guy. Did you prep and know that he was going to be there and seek him out, or did you just happen to see him?
No, I knew. I went, drove to the city an hour and a half, paid to go, but to meet that person, because they were very critical for what I want. So listen, if you have somebody you're looking to meet, find out. Maybe they're going somewhere. And this guy is a influencer too, like whatever. He's got a big following and stuff, so you can find out where those people are going to be. And I knew they were having this dinner, and it was an intimate dinner. It was only 50 people there, so I knew I'd get a chance and room to meet them, right? But like you said, the prep work, right? I'm going to an event next week. Now here's a list of people coming. I'm going to go through that list and be like, I'm going to find the person I want to talk to. And be like, that's the only reason I need to be there. Now, obviously, again, I'll talk to other people, but that's the person I want to be there. I remember I picked up when I had my marketing agency years ago. I was going to this event, and I knew this woman was going to be there. I knew she was the head of marketing for this company. I knew everything about her. And I just started talking to her, and blah, 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 blah. And she told me, oh, yeah. So I'm like, so what are you here for? Oh, I'm here for my company. Cool. Yeah, I'm the head of marketing. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know. I pretty much, like, again, I have no idea who you are or whatever. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I have a marketing agency. Oh, you do? What do you guys do in marketing? And I let her start asking me questions, and became one of my biggest accounts, right? But I knew I wanted her. I found her at the thing, and I went up to her and just, and it's not like a smoke and mirror thing. It's like, hey, I know that's the person I want to talk to. Let me see how I could get into that conversation.
Preparation. I think that's what it's all about. And I've been doing that for many, many years in sales, and the more I prepare, the better results. It kind of just goes without saying. As far as connecting and networking, who should be, I guess, spending a lot of time on networking? Is it small businesses, medium-sized businesses, large enterprise businesses? Like, is there a particular group type of people that should be networking? And I don't know, do you have an opinion on that, or should it be everybody?
I mean, look, you can't be everybody, right? Because if you're the CEO of a company and you're actually doing the work, it's hard for you to be out to be networking. So that's why you bring salespeople in. But if you can't afford a salesperson, which a lot of small businesses can't when they're starting, right? I'm starting out. I can't pay somebody $60,000 base salary plus commission plus benefit. Like it's just not the money's not there. So you have to do it, right? And it's top of funnel. So you could go to a group, and most groups are about $100 a piece, so you can afford that, right? And those people become your sales team. Right, we have 550 people in our group. Right, it's $100 a month. You're paying you get 550 salespeople, and they're just opening the top of funnel for you, right? And you're going to sell it because it's your company. You know your company best. You know your product the best. You know what you're doing the best, and then eventually you could get salespeople. Even larger companies, like if they have a huge sales force, those salespeople should be networking too, because again, it's no secret. Sales is all about who you know. It's always been all about who you know. It's never going to
Hmm.
change. All this AI is out there. It's like everyone's relying on AI to make it great. AI could tell you who you want to talk to, but you better have somebody to get you in the door there,
Hmm.
right? AI could give me 10 million leads tomorrow. I could punch it in. I need 10 million leads. I want every chamber of commerce person. Great. Now I have them all. How do I get to them? Well, it's by who somebody knows. Every sales team should be doing some sort of networking because it's getting someone to open a door. And if Jane knows the president or CMO of that company because she went to college and they're sorority sisters, there's no better way to get in that door than through Jane, who I know for a while, right? So again, all about who you know.
Hmm.
And now we're just telling people it's all about who you know, and you're going to pay somebody for who they know, right?
Yeah.
So
And you mentioned sales teams should be networking. Is there other groups within large organizations, large enterprises that could be networking as well? Like, should a marketing team be networking? Outside. Should your other people within the organization that might not be commercially led, should they be networking? Because I think that obviously you've kind of alluded to it that a lot of people know different people in different businesses. Whether they're your next door neighbor, or they're in a networking group, maybe they go to church with them. So how can you, I guess, expand networking and these sorts of strategies beyond just like the sales team in order to drive more sales?
yeah, so look, I've been thinking about this a lot because our platform Nolodex, right, is built for communities that are already networking, alumni association chambers that are there to kind of connect with each other. But I think back to like when I had my company, like I had a marketing company, right? And I had, 40 people that were working for me in design and graphics and websites and all that stuff. All those people used to work at a different agency, right? And they have clients that were at that agency, right? They came from this, say, no, we used to do work for Ralph Lauren over here. Do you still know, Jimmy, the head of marketing over there? Yeah, I know him really well. Why aren't we using those people as salespeople, right? Every CEO out there that's out there, or even the head of sales, like if you have 40, 50, 100, 200 employees and they're all sitting around not doing anything, why not turn them into salespeople? They don't have to be salespeople. They're just to be introducers, right? Connectors, right? So, hey, Sarah in accounting, you know anyone that would use our services here? Like, oh, I didn't think about it, but my cousin's the head of marketing for XYZ. But your cousin's the head of marketing for one of the companies we'd love to talk to? Can you get a meeting? Of course I can. But why would she without any incentive?
Incentive, yeah.
Now you're saying, hey, all our employees, we're going to put you on again, put it on our platform. They could all send referrals on the platform. Hey, I know someone that probably would be great to use the company's services. Right, but again, put an incentive in there and pay them just like you would a salesperson. But now you're not paying a sales, you're just paying them a straight commission. They're already working for you. They're helping you out. They're helping the company out, and they're putting extra money in their pocket.
Hmm.
Right. My wife works for a finance company. She knows top level people in finance. She's been in finance for 30 years. She could bring their company into, and she works for sales. She supports the sales team. Not one of them are ever like, "Hey, Audrey, I see on LinkedIn you're connected to this VP over at whatever company. Do you know them? Yeah, sure. Known them for 30 years. I could get you a meeting tomorrow. Why are we using those people?" So we really think one of the big pushes we're going to do is be like, every company has a sales force, right? Has people that are working for them that know people, right? If you have 100 people that work for your company, they know 100 people, right? That's 10,000 people that you could potentially connect to make
Yeah.
introductions for the company. So yeah, I think it's a huge area that nobody's thinking about or nobody's doing.
I think so. I mean, I haven't heard it. I mean, I think that it makes complete sense. I mean, it's kind of like you see it like in HR as far as if you refer a candidate for an open position and, maybe they get a kickback or something, maybe $100, $1,000, if they get hired, they last 90 days. But why shouldn't you be doing it on the sales front as far as just, hey, do you know anybody that's in this space or anybody that works at this company and do that internally? I think Nolodex makes a lot of sense to support that, to be able to do that internally. And I guess that's kind of what you're thinking, right? Is that Nolodex could sit inside a large enterprise and you have these people operating on this platform, making these connections and then getting, I guess, incentivized or paid for it, right?
Yeah, so they put it in the system. It's all on paper, all contracted for those employers to say, hey, again, Sarah in accounting, if you knew anyone that could use the services we provide as a company, you will get a commission. It's in writing for you and you're going to get paid. Put it in, send that person's name to me, make the introduction to me, and then I'll take it from there. So the CEO salesperson takes from there. So it's they're not selling again. They're just saying, yeah, I'll introduce you to my sorority sister Susie that I've known for 25 years, and we get together like those people so well. I'll easily make that introduction. By the way, I got $5,000 for that introduction. That was awesome. Let me see who else as an employee I know can make 5, 10, $20,000 as a little side hustle, making introductions for my boss. And hey, by the way, your boss is also pretty happy with you that they got a new client, right? It all
Right.
works together, and you're solidifying the company you work for to make sure they're getting new business so you keep your job. I mean,
Yeah.
the whole circle works together, right?
That's part of the package too. I mean, if you're onboarding somebody, you get a base plus, a spiff for, introducing other people. What other companies are going to, compete with that if they're not doing it? So I think it makes a lot of sense if you can make an extra buck on the side in order to help the business. And I don't know, it just helps
Yeah.
everybody out, including the
I
business.
was,
So
I,
why wouldn't you?
yeah. After I graduated college, I was working for a financial firm, Payne Weber, which is no longer around. And I was working for the Katz brothers, right? These two guys did 50% of the business for the entire company. And I had no idea what I was doing. I wasn't a finance guy, but I got a book from my buddy who worked at Honda at the time. He was an engineer and he got the employee handbook with all their phone numbers in it. And I gave it to the guys. I'm like, here, take this. They gave me $500 just for giving them that book, because they had all the employees that they could go sell 401ks to, whatever. I mean, so yes, employers are willing to incentivize their people. So I think we should really start looking at that.
Gotcha. How do you, what's like the time frame as far as just how often people should be networking, whether it's internal, whether it's external? Is it something that I need to be working on every day, once a week, once a month, a few times a year? And I'm just kind of thinking about this. I mean, you and I are probably doing this on a daily basis, but for somebody that maybe feels solid in their large enterprise job, they've been working there for 10 years, and do they need to be networking? I guess when is the right time to do it, and how frequently should you be doing it?
Well, look, if you're in a company and you got an enterprise job and it doesn't tie to any sort of sales, and I don't know if you really have to network, but you should always be networking because once you lose that job at some point, you want to know people so you should always be doing some sort of networking, meeting people, shaking hands, meeting people, your thing. So you always want to build a network for various reasons. But for the people that really want to grow their business, they should put at least, I would say, 2 to 3 hours a week towards that, right? And it's sales, it's your pipeline building, right? Put 2 or 3 hours. Just that's my time. I'm going to work on going on LinkedIn, going on the Nolodex site, seeing other people in my group, setting up meetings with them, doing one-on-one calls with them, because getting to know those people, you could tell them what you do more. It's just got to build the pipeline, right? And people, the biggest thing I see, and one of the biggest things that people don't realize, and I think because a lot of people aren't salespeople, right? They were working somewhere and now they started their own company. Now they are a salesperson and they get busy, right? They join a networking group, they get real busy, be like, I'm out. I can't afford, I don't have the time to do any of this anymore. I can't go to the meetings. I'm like, 6 months from now, you might not be as busy. And all of a sudden you're gonna be scrambling for new client. Oh my God, I lost 3 clients. And then we call up, Joe, do you know anyone that needs my service? Like, no, well, you should have been building those other pipeline people because sometimes it takes 3, 6 a year to get new business and to close a deal. You should be always networking to build more relationships and more clients that 6 months from now, when you lose 2 clients, all of a sudden, hey, Mark, what's going on? Be like, actually, you know what? I'm here to use your services now, right? Because
Hmm.
sometimes it takes a while, right? I've had people that um, I just had a guy we were going to hire. I talked to him a year ago, right? And all of a sudden now I'm coming together. So you always want that pipeline. I think people just don't understand what pipeline means. I'm so busy. So I got so much business right now. I don't need to network. It's like bullshit. Like you at some point are going to be like, oh my goodness, I don't have any business and what's
Yeah.
going on here?
You
You
never know
should
what's going
always,
to happen. I mean, the business could go, upside down. A lot of things happen. You hear stories every single day, whether you're a team of 10 or a team of 100,000, businesses go belly up, or there's M&A activity or layoffs, or you never know what that's going to look like. And I think if you're going to network and something bad happens and then you're kind of like, reaching out to people, then it just seems, I don't know, a little bit bad timing. And
yeah.
whoever you're reaching out to probably doesn't want to help you as much when you just have your hands out and you're looking for them to help you out, and you've ignored them for a year or two.
Yeah, we had somebody a few months ago be like, "Can we, I need a few more clients for the end of the year." Well, what have you been doing this whole time? Why weren't you out there networking? You should have been building this up. So, yeah, I say, if you're out there in sales, you own a company, business development, you should always be networking and building those sales pipeline. And otherwise, just be networking to meet people and get relationship with people that when you do lose your job, unfortunately, some people do. Hey, Mark, anything over at your company? But yeah, Joe, and you're not just asking, like you become friends with that person. You built that network with those people. So it's a little easier to ask when you're ready.
What do you think the future of networking will look like with more digital platforms that are out there, more meetings, more virtual meetings? It's harder to get in front of people on these days, one way or the other. There's more AI, which just puts more noise into all of our channels that we're dealing with. But what do you think like the future looks like in 5 years, 10 years? What does networking look like?
Yeah, I mean, look, the virtual is great, right? I could do 10 meetings a day now instead of 3 meetings because I don't have to drive an hour to each meeting. So it's awesome, but you still got to I think you got to find the right network for you, right? Like there's the right community, right? Not every community is going to be good for you, right? Are you looking to get into small businesses? Are you looking to get into larger enterprise type businesses? I think people just think they're going to join networking group. It's going to solve all my problems, right? But some aren't good. Like we had someone looking to join our group a couple months ago, and I said, well, "What do you do?" She goes, "I'm a photographer." I go, "So you do shoots all over the country?" "No, just in Phoenix." I'm like, well, "Don't join our group." I'm sure somebody will know somebody in Phoenix and might be able to help you, but join a local BNI group or local chamber of commerce, right? Those are the people that can get you into the local businesses, right? So look, virtual is going to be great, but I still think it's great to go out and shake hands and meet people. It's just time consuming. Right? Like when I went to that event in New York, it took me an hour and a half. I was there for 3 hours. It took me an hour and a half. I mean, I left at 3 in the afternoon and get home till 10 o'clock at night. Those are important because that person really wanted to meet that person. So other events, if you have local events that are going on, it's always great to go meet people in person. But I think virtual and these more and more online platforms are coming up. But
Mm-hmm.
again, it's never going to AI and all these platforms. Again, it's never going to take away the human connection to somebody, right? You build a relationship with somebody, you become friendly with them, like they're never going to leave. I was talking to somebody the other day about it. I built a relationship with my top client, Jack, who I just saw the other day. Like, he would never leave me. Like, I had such a tight relationship with him. He had people calling him all the time. We did printing at the time. He's like, "Hey, I'll do your next print job for free." He's like, "Nope, that's my guy. That's my guy." I don't like, like you built such a solid. And I think that's the problem with virtual is that you're not taking your client out to lunch, having a couple drinks. Not that you have to drink at lunch, but like you're building a friendship with these people that, again, this guy, Jack, would never use anyone else besides me because we became so tight, right? AI and technology is not going to take that away. I think people are relying so much on tech, 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 tech. Like just find a good network that is within your industry, right? If you're in supply chain, find a bunch of other supply chain people, right? For us, we're all B2B, right? We're only B2B. If you're B2C, you're not joining our group. If you're B2B, you're here. But you also have to be a certain, there's other vetting things that we have out because we want our group to make sure they're being able to do it. So, find a group. And yeah, obviously, if you could do 2 or 3 groups, it's great. And yes, the future is probably more virtual. But for us, I mean, we keep saying the future is, again, my book, not to plug it, Connectors Get Paid. The future is that join a group, but everyone start paying each other, right? Make it easy. Like just stop talking about it. Everyone's willing to pay referral fees. Businesses, companies are willing to pay you to get in there, and connectors are willing to make introductions if they want to get paid for it. Yeah, I'll keep making introductions for you, but you got to pay me for it. And everyone's willing to do it. So why don't we just all put it together and say, okay, it's all about who you know. I'll pay you for the introductions you can make, Mark, and I'm going to get more business for myself. And I'm happy to pay you to do that. Just simple.
Makes sense, and I think you'll probably be hearing more about this on LinkedIn, just because you have the idea, you have the amazing book. I think it's a concept that you don't hear far and wide, and I think that those are the types of ideas that people pick up and are like, what, that is an amazing idea. Connectors should get paid, and I think even large enterprises, the example that you brought up as far as like marketing people and different people bringing in other deals to help drive sales, those are the types of bold ideas that I love to hear, and I think that we need to help drive forward. I think that your book will certainly help do that, and I'm sure that the Connective and Nolodex, those sorts of platforms will be pretty popular. They already are, but be more in vogue in the coming years, trying to figure out how to leverage sales opportunities and other people within your businesses. But let's pivot over to our most popular segment, which is the Burn It or Build It rapid fire segment. I'll rattle off like 10 topics. You answer burn it or build it and a brief reason why. So we'll start with number one. Successful people don't need to network.
Burn it. Am I saying it right? Wait, am I saying no? No. So yeah, successful people still need to network, right? Because you never know where your next best connection is going to come from, right? So yeah, you can be successful now, but you don't know 2 months from now you're going to meet someone that could really change your business. And we all know one person can make a big difference in our business. So you should always be networking.
Absolutely. Next question. Networking takes too much time.
This is a sore one for me. I hate when people say they don't have time because I wrote a book. I wrote my second album. I just finished a movie. I'm writing a TV pilot now, and I'm basically running 2 companies and doing all the set. There's plenty of time. So yes, it does take time, but you got to put the time in. Like if you want to build your business, it's your business. You joined a networking group. Now get those people to do it. Put the time in.
So you're writing a TV script?
Yeah. TV pilot.
How do we leave that out of the bio? We should have led with that.
I just started it. So I decided because I did a movie and did everything. And listen, people are like, how do you find the time to do this stuff? Like I get up at 4 every day and like stuff like this, I just find some time, and
Make the time.
literally takes 15 minutes to write a scene. So I just outline a scene, and then when I have time on a Saturday, I'll write 2 scenes. When my wife's going out tonight for dinner, I'm like, I'm going to go and write a couple scenes and have dinner by myself and write 2 or 3 scenes. So like, it's just fun. I don't golf. I don't do a lot of, this is my hobbies. I like to write. So this is my time to do that and just try different things. So.
I love that. I'm glad you added that, and we'll have to have another follow-up podcast to unpack all of the good things that you're doing on the side. Number 3, following up is pushy.
That's always a tricky one, right? You want to follow up, and people are scared to push too much or whatever. Like, there's a difference between persistence and annoyance, right? Just, follow. Hey, listen, Mark, I'm gonna get back to you probably in a couple of weeks, if that's okay. But if you want to reach out to me in the meantime, you know what we do, right? If you're more anxious to get going, obviously I'd love to talk to you, but I'll give it a couple of weeks. But put those, get those things out there. Like, is that cool with you? Yeah, all right, Joseph. But I'll follow up in a couple of weeks. Sometimes they don't respond. Give it another couple of weeks, but you have to follow up, like,
Yeah.
and always follow up and make sure, like, if somebody introduced you, make sure you use their name. Hey, Mark Crosby gave me was introduced to us, right? So they remember, because 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, someone made an introduction for you. They're going to forget who you are and why you're doing it. They get a million emails a day. Always use the person when you follow up, so they know, oh, Mark introduced me. I better get back to him, or Mark's going to yell at me for that, right? So yeah, listen, you have to follow up, but don't be annoying.
Gotcha. We'll burn that one. You have to be extroverted to be good at networking.
No, you don't have to be. We talked about it before, like introverts, as long as they're out there talking and listening to people and meeting people, they might not be the most outgoing person in the room, but they're listening and understanding what people need. So you got to pull out those pain points of people. Be like, what is it? Oh, I heard Mark. I was listening. He was talking about his business and problems he's having. I have 3 referrals now for him because he said he's not getting sales. His marketing sucks. And I got 3 referrals for him. So, as long as you're listening, anyone could be a good networker.
Gotcha. Networking is a long game. Burn it or build it.
Yeah, build it. Like, it is a long game, right? Like, you have to, start doing it. Like, I've had people 10 years later that I reach out to, and they're like, Joe, I didn't forget, you were the first person that gave me a shot at this thing. You gave me my first deal. Or I have a call later today with someone that I gave her first job out of college, right? Now she's working for a bigger company, and she probably, she got the job because she had that experience with me. So, that's what networking is, giving back to people. And then when you call, like, I just reached out to her the other day. I haven't spoken to her 2, 3 years. She's like, yeah, I'll meet you, and it could be an interesting opportunity for some people in our group to make intros for. But I built that relationship years ago, right? So it is, you never know when you're going to go back to that person, right? This guy was 10 years. I forgot how I even knew this guy. He's like, I never forget, Joe. You gave me my first opportunity, and that's what networking does.
Love that. Build it. Long game. Curiosity opens more doors than confidence.
Yeah, build it. Like you want to talk to people, right? You want to get to know them a little bit. People like to talk about themselves, right? And if you can start to, instead of you being like, "Hey, what's up? Hey, Mark, tell me a little bit more. I saw on LinkedIn you went to, whatever, University of Maryland. Like whatever. Like you start talking, asking questions to people. People like to talk about themselves. So you start asking questions, they're going to start talking to you more. And they're going to give you more of what they're looking for. And all of a sudden, like, oh, is there anything you need in business? Like you're having trouble? Oh, actually, you know what, Joe? Yeah, now that you're asking me, like, actually looking for a new website. Like, oh, I got someone I could do. I did it the other day with a guy I was on, and he's got a new business, and he's like, yeah, yeah, we're looking for a new website. So I'm going to introduce him some people. But we talked about all the other stuff, just asking more about, tell me about what you're doing and you, right? So people like to talk about themselves. Obviously, I do.
Because you're an
don't
extrovert.
don't laugh too hard at that.
Number 8, your digital presence is your first impression. I love this question just because it's typically something I typically talk about, just your digital footprint that's out there. It's usually where people start: LinkedIn, your website, places in between, other social platforms. Burn it or build it, as far as that is your first impression.
Yeah, I mean, I guess build it, right? Because everyone, like, I don't know, everyone should, before they get on a call, somebody look them up, right? Just get a little bit about them, see what they're doing, and you want to make sure you have a good digital impression. I had a buddy, I looked up his name the other day, and his son came up with he has a mug shot because he got arrested in college. Like, that's not a good first digital impression, right? So you have to make sure that your digital impression is good for both ways, negative or positive, right? And listen, when people look you up, like I would check your name once a month and just see, like, oh yeah, there's cool things are going on. Oh, he just does charity work. Because everyone should. Before you have a meeting, you should be looking up the other person just to get an idea of who they are, what they do, a little bit about that. So, but when you get on a call, that first impression, I mean, you got a couple minutes when you first get on to really. I got on with a guy yesterday. I was like, oh, God, like, do you even want to be here? You like, he's like, hey, I don't want to be here. Like, so even if his digital footprint is great and it looks like this great rock star you want to talk to, and you get on, like, hey, I'm like, oh my god, within 2 minutes. So yeah.
And make sure when you're on a virtual call, it matches your virtual, wherever you're out there in digital and LinkedIn land.
Right.
Which leads us to go ahead.
Sorry, I had a guy that was like on LinkedIn, all excited, videos all the time, and kind of like on and on and on. I'm like, this guy's a fireball. And this was like a year or so ago, and I had a call. He goes, "Hey Joe," I was like, hello." He's like, I'm like, is this the same? This can't be the same person I've been watching on there. So it's interesting, right? You build this whole persona up on there. It should be your persona, not some other one.
Well, it should be. And I think that's all a hot debate, I think, in sales and marketing, as far as I don't know, your output, as far as your emails and your phone calls and your video stuff, and then you show up in person and you don't match. That's a huge trust barrier, as far as just even wanting to do any business with you at all, because you just seem like a fraud when you show up in person and doesn't match who you are out there in the digital world. It's a problem,
Right.
and it's just going to get worse, I think, with more AI and the more augmenting, as you will, for human behaviors and content and stuff. You better match up in real life, because it's just going to get harder for you if you don't.
Yeah, my hair kept getting grayer. I had to take another headshot because I'm like, I don't have any black hair anymore, right? And I literally did because that's not the same. Like I show up with a full head of gray, and they're like, "Wait, where's the guy with the black hair?" Like, so I had to literally go get a new headshot because I don't look like that guy. It's okay. You're allowed to be old. You're allowed to look. And I'm only 52, Mark. I look like I'm 60 something. So I'm actually younger than people think. So it's actually good.
Yeah, it's always good to have an updated LinkedIn photo so it matches who you are in person. Speaking of LinkedIn, that's number 9. LinkedIn is the only good networking platform. Burn it or build it.
Burn it. Yeah, it's getting to the spot, and I don't want them to kick me off of LinkedIn, but like, it's just so much crap going on. I mean, anyone you accept is immediately hitting you up for say, oh, yeah, I want to sell you. Like, you can't just connect with somebody and immediately send them. And it's all bots probably in AI and doing it, but it is getting to a point where people are annoyed with it, and it's not It's not set up. I mean, mainly, and from what I hear, it's mainly for people looking for jobs for the most part. So is it really a networking platform? I don't know. But there's a lot better platforms that are coming out there. I think you need to build these smaller communities. Again, we do it on our platform. There's Circle and Mighty and all these other ones that are out there that are smaller communities, right? And then what brings you together as a community? And then network amongst those people, not the 3 billion people in your community on LinkedIn. It's just too many people. And you don't even know if something's real or not. I was going the other day. It's like, I am a AI. I'm like, wait, seriously? Like, it literally says in their profile. And I'm like, I don't even know how LinkedIn lets them on, but it says in the profile, basically, just so you know, I'm not a real person.
Hey, at least they said it. That's good to know.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you for that heads up. You get the final word today. Give us a piece of advice for an executive leaders team, leaders out there that could deploy something today to help sales and marketing teams. Balls in your court.
Yeah. I mean, again, and not to go back to what we were talking about before, but I really think if you're an executive and you own a company, you're running and in charge of sales, like, start to utilize those people that work for you. I don't know. I just think it's like, it's right there. You have those people, they want to be loyal to you anyway. Like, put them up and get them in a meeting and say, hey guys, help the company out and we'll pay you. I don't know. I think it's just a big way that companies can really in the future just, turn their whole organization into a sales force for them. So that's what's been weighing on my head. And I'm like, this is something that could be really huge. So I'm out there talking to people now, CEOs and stuff like that. Like, hey, you guys should try this. So we're out there ready to do it. So.
It's a great idea. Everybody should do it. The CEO go out there and do it literally right now and go say, hey, does anybody know somebody that works at this company? Somebody raise their hand. I'm sure they will. And then they got more business. Great tip, Joe. Appreciate you having you on the Burn the Playbook podcast.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Mark.
Where can people find you and where can people buy Connectors Get Paid?
So you can go to Amazon, just type in Connectors Get Paid. It'll pop up. It's on Kindle, 99 cents. And if the audiobook is done, I'm just getting it up on Spotify. So by next week, it'll be on Spotify, or whenever this comes out, it'll be up on Spotify and the other Audible and those places. And me, you could send an email to joe@nolodex.com. You can check out our website, nolodex.com, or look me up on LinkedIn at Joe Mindak and find me there.
Sounds good. Appreciate the conversation.
Yeah, this was awesome, Mark. Thank you.
All right. Take care. Thanks. That's how you burn the playbook. If this conversation fired you up, don't let it in here. Subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Share this episode with someone who's tired of playing by the old rules. And if you're ready to challenge your own sales approach, let's connect. Find me on LinkedIn at Mark Crosby, or head to digitalrebelsconsulting.com to see how we help B2B teams win differently. Until next week, keep burning what's not working and keep building what is.